But with Paolo playing behind Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 5, the question comes up for us that Cortez and Malik were debating over here on Twitter. Cortez P says, I'll be shocked if he, I think meaning Coach Mosley, plays P5 at the center, LOL. Malik says, I absolutely will not be. Offensively, the possible benefits, especially if somehow J.I. is a healthy rotation player, of Paolo at the 5 demand at least to be explored this season, my man. So what are you thinking about Paolo at the 5 right now, Pish? Are you okay with him getting this much time playing what would be, for us, he played the 4 and very few minutes at the 5. He's playing out of position potentially for us. How do you feel about that over the summer?
Well, it's been a long time since I've been on Twitter, or X as they call it now, so I've been enjoying my time away from Malik, but here he is back on the show. This isn't a super hot take, to be honest. I get the concept of it. I don't love it. We played New Zealand the other day, so I think let's calm down here. That's like you and I going out and playing against some third graders. Like, it's just not the same. So, you could play center against them, right? But that's probably not your normal skill set. So, I mean, it's just not the same thing when you get to the NBA. I wouldn't love Paolo being the 5 because that means he's guarding a guy that's taller than him, because most teams have a 5 that's going to be at least 7 foot. So then he could get into potential foul trouble. And while I love his interior game, I don't love him being the 5. But again, we're talking about him and Wendell being the 5'4". Height-wise, they're similar. I just feel like Wendell's built for that a little bit more. And plus, you take away Paolo's outside shooting, which is still good, and his ability to get to the rim would be good against some slower centers, but I don't know if I love it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's going to happen sometime that it looks like he is the 5 out there, and I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but I don't know if on a championship team, if the Magic get to a championship level, like within 4 or 5 years, I don't think he's the 5 on a team like that. So that's just my vision. You?
I'm in agreement with that overall message. I will give. I thought this take from Malik was a little crazy. I didn't want to see Paolo at the 5. I was a little worried about him playing all these minutes at the 5 over the summer and not working on his skill set that may be more applicable to his Orlando Magic role. However, I mean, I know it's New Zealand, but I loved what I was seeing, and I love what I hear from Paolo in his interviews after the game. How do you like playing the 5? Well, I'm just, doing what the team needs. I am making myself a more versatile player, working on my rebounding and my defense, being able to defend 1 through 5. Now, I agree and I disagree with Malik. I think Paolo could play the 5 offensively with a quote-unquote healthy J.I. I mean, that's a huge asterisk. That's the only kind of lineup that it would work, because J.I. would most likely actually defend the 5 on our side of the floor with, Paolo picking up the 4. But if those two guys can pass off down low when there's screens, when there's things, and we already have seen Paolo be able to get out on the perimeter and hold his own against much smaller guards, now he's learning to do it, getting more reps against bigger guards. And one of the areas that we want to see him get better is rebounding. He already was a very good rebounder, but he can even lead into that strength even more. And Paolo shut me up. He shut all the doubters up by coming out and playing really good at the 5. Again, going straight up and down is what I love to see, being able to take contact with that big body, with that big frame that Doris Burks loves to talk about. But I think maybe we could see something like that, but it's going to be against a select teams. It's going to be case-by-case basis, not teams that have 7-foot centers.
It's only going to happen against teams that are like New Zealand, Old Zealand, Mid Zealand. That's probably about it.
Well, it's going to be happening for all of FIBA. We'll see how it goes. I mean, if teams in the NBA are trying to run a small ball 5, like, I'm confident that Paolo could play against Chet Holmgren, for example. I'm just thinking Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, he's 7 foot, but he's a smaller 7 foot that could be moved around a little bit. Paolo could body with a guy like that. these bigger 7-foot guys, a guy like Thomas Bryant even, who's not a great center but just has the height and the mass on him. Even like if he was going up against Goga. I don't know if we're going to play Georgia, but I wouldn't love that matchup in terms of rebounding for Paolo, but he could do something on the offensive side. Certainly.